What's happening, guys? Welcome into another boxing breakdown and prediction show for this weekend's welterweight clash between former champion Keith one-time Thurman as he takes on former 140-pound champ Mario Barrios live on Fox pay-per-view over in Las Vegas this weekend. So let's get into it. Now, Keith Thurman comes into this fight as the minus 180 favourite with Mario Barrios coming back at a plus 150. And, those odds are absolutely fair enough to me. Keith Thurman, extremely inactive over the last few years. And by the same token, this is Mario Barrios' first foray up to the 147-pound division. So, plenty of unknowns heading into this one on either side. Keith Thurman, as anyone watching this probably knows, former elite unified champion at this weight, held the WBC and WBA straps for a length of time after beating both Sean Porter and Danny Garcia in quick succession. But the wheels came off for Thurman after those wins. He got injured, had to go undergo surgery. And he's had just one fight over the last 3 years combined. Even the last one coming almost 2 years ago as well, the Hall of Fame Senator Manny Pacquiao. So, inactive doesn't even begin to describe the amount of time Keith Thurman, has had off in boxing over the last few years. I thought Thurman did well in that Manny Pacquiao fight, though, to be honest. Despite the layoff, I picked Pacquiao to win that fight. I got him at around a plus 125 early as a 4% play 2 years ago at WagerTalk. And, Pacquiao blitzed him early in that one, put him down in round one, looked great. Thurman, as I said in my analysis, I didn't think he could handle the speed in that one. But, in fairness to Keith, he rallied back in that fight. He made it very close near the end. And while he's definitely not the fighter he once was, he did show, at least to me in that fight, enough that he's still not completely washed up at this level. And if Thurman's riding on even 80% of his former self here, he should have enough to get past Barrios here on Saturday night. Mario Barrios, he's a good fighter. He's always in entertaining fights. The Akhmedov fight was a great fight. The recent Gervonta Davis fight as well. So he's no doubt a tough campaigner in there. He is a handful. And even though he's the one jumping up a full division in this one, honestly, you'd think it was the other way around at the press conference. Barrios is by far the bigger man heading into this one. So, he's going to be a real test for Thurman in there, no doubt. But, saying all that, while Barrios is a game fighter in there, and no doubt a tough out for Thurman here, he is limited technically. When Mayweather decided to finally have a word with Tank about finally waking up and flipping the switch against Barrios in his last fight. Barrios didn't really have many answers for Davis in there from that point on. And Davis, a far smaller guy, obviously, than Barrios, started teeing off on him, bullying him around the ring. So, to me, this is good matchmaking by PBC, in all honesty. Keith's a much bigger name in this division. Despite all his layoffs, people would still tune in to watch a Keith Thurman fight. So, it'd be silly with the amount of time he's had off to suddenly fire him in against a top-level operator in this division, like an Errol Spence, your Dennis Ugas, Terence Crawford. It's much better to go down the road they've chosen, try and ease him back into the fold here with, a tough matchup, a competitive matchup, yet one that he still should be able to come through and earn those huge paydays against those fighters I just mentioned further down the road. As the old joke goes, even before Thurman became inactive in this division, he went from one time to sometimes as well. He may have been blown out, the likes of Carlos Quintana's, Diego Chavez, so on, earlier in his career. Only one of his last 7 fights has been a stoppage. So, while Keith has power, and we saw Barrios get taken out late last time out, obviously against Gervonta Davis, Keith just isn't the same fighter he was back when he was, he wasn't even getting stoppages anymore back then. So, I think Barrios can definitely force him the full distance here, and make this a somewhat competitive fight as a result. I'm picking Keith Thurman to win this one by decision at a plus 175. I think that's a decent price here as, I believe even a 75 to 80% version of Thurman here should have enough to get over the line against Barrios on Saturday night. So, take Keith Thurman to win by decision at a plus 175 as your boxing play for Saturday. That'll wrap things up for this episode. As always, leave us your thoughts in the comment section below. And you can also catch me over on Twitter at the SportsWolf83 and at my handicapper page, Kevin Dolan, over at WagerTalk. As always, thanks for listening. Till next time, Slán